Hello. Hi there. Um, so today we're gonna do two things, and today is just more of like a chill session for now. And when we are done with whatever my agenda is for today, we will basically move on to playing games. Um, I'm hoping this won't take too long. If it takes quite a while, then that's a bit unfortunate. But hopefully, we can get our editing session done today pretty quickly, because it's pretty much almost there already. I just need to listen through everything and kind of get like a good sense of how do I want to put this for the podcast itself. So yes, spoiler alert, it's gonna be a podcast, and I'm just waiting for people to join in if they are just joining in. And yeah, for today we are going to be editing my very own podcast, which is Lim Kopi podcast. And today we're editing everything. That means for the entire podcast itself, and hopefully we can do it within the next 1 hour or two, and then we will do up not Baldur's Gate. We're gonna do up Forza Horizon 5 because it's a new series, and I'm actually looking forward to uh, what's coming in for Forza Horizon. So let's just get down to business today. All right, shall we? So let's change up to the editing session. All right, I promise it hasn't changed much because I haven't done up anything yet, but I have downloaded uh, what's it called again? Um, the samples for the mix down for the audio. So I'm just going to quickly transfer over to uh, what's it called again? Uh, to my current editing program, which is Premiere Pro. And once we are done with that, we can basically move on to whatever that is needed. Okay, let me just put my for my audio guy, and let's just transfer them. It's about 2 GB big, so it takes some time to transfer in. But if anybody is coming in, hello there, welcome to the stream, and feel free to say hi. We'd love to chat up. And if you like what I'm doing so far for the many broadcasts that we have done, feel free to give a follow. And yeah, would be much appreciated as well. All right, let's just move on to what we have. So we have this whole bunch of audio clips, and I'm going to use the second one as recommended by my um, audio guy, and I'm just gonna save this sequence just in case um dot clean up, and we're just gonna put it's a bit laggy, is it? Yeah, it's a bit laggy. Shit, is it gonna crash? Okay, nope, it's not. Okay, this will be called as with the audio cleanup because I have already kind of done it already with cleanup. So we're just gonna move on from this. As you can see, there's a couple of markers on my timeline because I think there are going to be quite a bit of things to do. Let me just update my description real quick so people won't be confused on what's going on here. Okay, great. Let's update. All right. So as you can see, there is a couple of like markers over here, mainly because like this is the stuff that I need to put in some additional work in terms of that. So I will be toggling around from Premiere Pro to After Effects, and once that is on the way, I will toggle my stream to After Effects as well, so at least like you can follow along with what I'm doing, so it won't be so confusing in some sense. All right, let's just go on with importing our audio to continue up with this. So since it's a cleanup, we can just delete all of this and it looks so much more tidier. And we just input this. And now we have the official audio for the podcast. And it's gonna be sound much better, honestly. Um, not the best in terms of quality wise, but we did our best, honestly. I think the audio wise is a bit screwed up in my opinion, but well, we tried our best, honestly. Okay, let's listen from the top. So, I'm going to call this episode the Sober Conversations episode because I have no idea what to plan for this episode because we have four people right here in this table, and for this episode, we're just going to go freestyle most of the time. But we have a topic in our mind and we're just going to go as it goes along. So, welcome to the Sober Conversations episodes. Yeah, I need to hear Debbie speaking.
Debbie?
Yes, you forgot that your name
Yes,
exists.
I somehow I forgot my name. Yes.
Okay, so I think she sounds okay. I would personally try to push this a little bit more by putting a bit of denoiser. And hopefully by putting denoiser, it does help a little bit. If it doesn't help, that would be unfortunate. Uh, just a tiny bit, like 10% or something. So I'm gonna call this episode the Sober Conversations episode. Yeah, it's so much better. So much better. About 5%, maybe that helps a bit. So I'm gonna call this episode the Sober Conversations episode. Welcome back to episode of the Lim Kopi podcast. My name is Kokao.
I'm Debbie.
Yes. Oh, so much better. I think if you're listening on stream, let me just deactivate the denoiser.
Is Kokao? I'm Debbie.
Yes, you forgot that your name exists.
Yes,
And versus this. My name is Kokao.
I'm Debbie.
Yes, you forgot that. Maybe 5% be better, in my opinion. That your name exists.
Yes,
Lim Kopi podcast. My name is Kokao.
I'm Debbie.
Yes, you forgot that your name
Yes,
exists. Yeah, much better, much better. Okay, let's just move on from there and let's listen through the entire podcast. That means you guys are listening to the edit for the podcast itself, and it's basically like spoiler alert here. So if you don't want to listen to the podcast, do wait till the official release for the podcast, and we will just chill from there as well. Okay, let's just see what needs to be added. So I do have for this season, if in case that or that we talked about it in the previous episode and the very first episode of the season. Oh wait, I didn't have the guests and everything. Wait. Hello everybody, welcome back to episode of the Lim Kopi podcast. My name is Kokao.
I'm Debbie.
Yes. Okay, so I need to input in the what's it called again? Our names inside. So by the way, if you're watching this stream and you're wondering like how do you gonna address me? Like I'm perfectly fine if you address me as my name, which is Kakao, or you can address me as KH or K. I would prefer KH more. But I'm perfectly fine, honestly. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. In fact, I'm totally fine. Address me any way possible. Okay, let's input the supers for this. The lower third, as I like to call it. Welcome back to episode of the Lim Kopi podcast. My name is Kokao.
I'm Debbie.
My name. Okay, so from here we just input in the lower third. So we're just gonna give like a 5-second room for myself. Typically, like I prefer to put it as 5 seconds. Okay, and then we do a simple fade out. My name is Kokao.
I'm Debbie.
Yes, you forgot that your name exists.
Yes,
So when she says I'm Debbie, basically we put in the super as well, but I need to find the super. So let me just quickly go through with my files. Anyway, if you're joining in, feel free to say hi and do let me know how's it played like. Okay, name super. This is on the left, right. Shucks. Okay, I do need to edit this then. Okay, for the first time, let's talk through from After Effects. Gonna be summoning After Effects in a bit. Right, let's summon our After Effects. And here you go. This is our After Effects. So I just have to remember to toggle this every single time when I'm doing this. Okay, so I need to change Debbie super. Um, actually, you know what? I can just copy paste this. Um, Debbie. Debbie name left super. So I think from there we can just put in Debbie's name to make sure that he's the same. Okay, 93. And this is at 93 as well. So yeah, I need to basically render this out. Animation alpha plus RGB. What's next? Animation. Loaded. Wait, is it loaded? Yeah, that loaded. Render. Actually, we don't need to render so much of it anyway, because it's just gonna be still. I'm just gonna like what's it called? I'm gonna fade out anyway, so it's good to like save like my files in terms of sizes wise. Okay, while this is exporting, let's switch back to Premiere Pro and let's fix up whatever we can fix. And we will input in the super for that. Yeah, as you can hear, it's done. And let's input this inside. And here you go. We have the super here. So 5-second brew. I'm just gonna do this real quick. It won't take long. Actually, it would be nice if I kind of like put them together as fade out. Because if I do it separately, I think it might look a bit weird. Let me see. Podcast. My name is Kokao.
And Debbie?
Yes, you forgot that your thing that came out a bit too early. Podcast. My name is Kokao.
And Debbie?
Yes, you forgot that your name is Kokao.
And Debbie?
Yes, you forgot that your name
Yes,
exists.
somehow I forgot my name.
Not too sure like why the color seems a bit faded for that, but let's just try to figure that out. What's it called? Tree color. I always wondered why the color seems a bit weird. It just feels a bit faded. No, it's not the white. Yeah, it's much better, I think. Minus 100. Don't want to overly heal it. Okay. My name is Kakao.
And Debbie?
Yes, you forgot that you're just like your bird. Kakao.
And Debbie?
Yes, you forgot that your name
Yes,
exists.
somehow I forgot my name, yes.
Okay, we can just move on from there. We talked about it in the previous episode. Okay, previous episode. So we need to import the previous episode there. It's under assets. So, previous episodes. This is really important. Because you have to imagine this as a person who is watching the podcast. What's it called again? Like if the person is watching the podcast online, like all of this will make sense. If you're just watching it through if you're listening it through what's it called again? I can't think. My brain is a bit not working right now. Okay, so if you're listening to this through Spotify, like all of this will not make sense at all. Like all this is just extra work. But because it's all visuals, it must make sense in terms of visually. So that's why like I have to make a lot of time. I have to kind of like put in a lot of time working on all of this. Okay, let's see. Previous episodes. Okay, let's import it. It will take some time to kind of transfer. So it take about 4.5 minutes to transfer to my folders, and we can basically upload from there. It will take a while, so let's just chill for a bit. Actually, you know what? While that's going on, let's just see what else that's need to be done. What's this? Nicholas episode. Okay, so we have another episode that we import. Nicholas episode edit and another one as well. Assets, previous episodes. Okay, it will take about 8 minutes to transfer both. So I'm just going to leave it in the background while we work on other things. Okay, so what's this? Let's listen to. Quite freezy on it.
That's true.
Yeah. So for we don't really.
True.
Yeah. So for this episode of the podcast, we don't really plan anything much for today lah. but we're just gonna let the time limit of 45 minutes for this episode. So it could be more, it could be less, depending on how juicy the topics are. But we're gonna do 20 minutes for the first half, and we're gonna do 25 minutes for the next half. I mean, the topic can be under the sun, really. So I select one topic first, then we'll go from there. So we just like go accordingly to the flow, lah. And then what?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, definitely. Yeah, so let's just begin with something very very light. So the both of you guys are from KL, right?
Not him.
Oh yes, you're not from KL. Yes, you're from JB. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, you're from JB.
Oh.
So you're from KL.
Yeah, I'm from KL.
So
Born and
if
bred.
do you mind sharing like what's the difference between KL and JB in terms of like the lifestyle wise? And also now you're also from Sabah as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the two of you guys can really compare a lot. And as a
Yeah.
Singaporean, I'm just gonna be like just listening and just
Not.
I'm
Yes.
just gonna yes, I'm gonna pretend that I know everything.
I mean, it's true. This is the whole premise of the episode itself. Okay, I think for this, right, I want to listen through and see what it does.
But the nearest place is from your end is JB.
Yes, I've been to JB quite often as a kid lah. But in terms of how often was it, probably like once every a few weekends kind lah. But that was as a kid because I do have a family car back then. So we will always drive up to the Woodlands checkpoint.
Oh, what's that? Okay, thankfully I'm noticing
We'll cross the
it.
checkpoint and then we'll just be like jalan-jalan bit for like a bit like city square. So that's one of them. Then KSL is one of them. So just go around here and there. Why are you so surprised?
Oh, I didn't realize that during your back in your days that mall was already existing.
That exists.
Wasn't that mall like very old?
Okay, now that I think of it, it is old. It is old, but I lived in the days where that mall, that particular mall hasn't been built yet.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh.
wait, how long was that mall?
I think it's less than 20 years.
Mm.
Less than
The
20 years.
math checks out. I think when I'm there, right, KSL is considered as it's considered as a pretty new mall. I went there was like maybe 10 years old or something. I mean, a decade old is still considered as new, I would say, to me like, at least.
Yeah, I don't know if that's right to say my opinion, but I think I'm right in some extent. 10 years is to me it's pretty new compared to like a lot of the older shopping malls. But in Singapore terms, 10 years is a bit old already in some sense. Depends on how you kind of view it here and there.
Because as compared to many of the malls nearby, right, it's a pretty new mall itself.
Yes.
Yeah. I might be wrong lah because my memory of JB is as good as my memory of KL. It's just very vague.
It was still pretty popular like around 15 years ago. 10 to 15 years ago. Yes, that exposes my age a little bit, but let's not go back.
Let's not go
No,
there.
we'll just keep it there. Yeah.
How about for KL?
KL, right? Okay. The only thing that I know about JB is probably from my textbook, geography textbook. I'm so sorry, I didn't been there before, but I heard a bit about here and there because my aunt itself, she worked as a bus driver in Singapore. So she will pass here and there lah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing I only heard. I didn't been there before. So I kind of want to find one day to been there. As a grown up, as a KL kid, I think I go back to my kampong last time. Used to go back to Karak, Tanjung Sepat, and then Karak, Tanjung Sepat, and then one of it is called Bahau. So at least I feel a bit of village life. I'm not a fully city kid. At least I still understand how does it work lah. But I didn't play like them lah because I'm in a totally different situation.
I think I mentioned this in the previous episode about how impressed I was with KL lah. I did say a lot of good things. Don't worry.
Okay.
Please don't find me. I did say that my impression of KL was very vague lah, 10 years ago. And compared to now, right, I would say that I'm pleasantly surprised lah by how accessible things are, especially for, I would say, transportation. Because
It's quite in depth into how KL is. I don't know if that's warrants as a new topic change.
but we shall
Back
see
then,
as we
what
go
I
along.
remember was just monorail.
Yeah.
I don't know how much was the system back then, but that was what I remembered, and partly because I always drive. I mean, I was in like people's cars, my relatives' cars,
Understand.
so I never really walked as far as just a shopping mall. So as a kid, like and even we walk around, we will usually walk around. We don't take the transportation, we don't take the LRT, we don't take MRT.
Yeah.
So I mentioned in the previous episode, like, oh, I am able to see everything and everything, and that's why I have found a new found appreciation for KL.
Yeah, I would agree with that because I don't think that back then when I was kid, everything we need to go by your own transportation, like your own car or what.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's quite hard also because there's only LRT back then. Before I was in my college year, like during secondary or what, everything was very hard to access until the MRT build up and then the LRT they extend it some of the line and then that's why it's more accessible compared to last time. Last time like every place you need to drive is quite hard lah. Now with MRT is more better.
Last time is at least 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
But
that shit.
5 years
at
ago.
least 5 years ago, yeah, when I was still a kid,
Mm,
still young, dumb, and broke.
okay.
That's pretty interesting because right, KL is a very public transportation friendly.
It's a melting pot lah, basically.
Mm.
I don't think you guys have tried lah, but if you try, there's called a KL bus. I forget what is the name of a. I think it's called Jom KL.
Go KL.
Go KL. Yeah,
Mm.
thank you. So that one is free. They got like bring you
Okay, another of those thingies. So I need to pay attention to any of that.
particular place like KL Tower, all of it.
Bukit
Like the
Bintang area.
sightseeing
Yeah.
places, is it?
Yeah,
Mm.
purple line, green line. That one is also quite okay. Not bad.
So it's like city tours,
It's not a city tour, but that one is for local. City tour, that one is another kind of bus.
Oh.
So these bus, like Go KL and the other smart buses, like
Yep.
some in Subang Jaya,
Mm.
PJ, Kajang, these are buses that built to they are provided to encourage people to take public transport more often,
Yep.
because the government has also helped in building more train stations, LRT, MRT stations.
Okay, like I said, right, KL is very transportation friendly. So you got all the buses, got all the trains and everything. But how is it compared to JB and Sabah? Especially Sabah.
Oh, don't
see,
even
No.
compare.
You can't
No.
compare because there is very little. You see, that's the problem. I know you guys are laughing because
I think we are still going into the comparison between KL, Sabah, and Johor. I wouldn't mind still putting that as a whole title overhead itself. So I don't think I have any issues with it.
there's very little. But then how do you guys travel around if you don't have a car?
You okay?
Wait, am I asking something wrongly?
You got into the correct. You got
You
into
got
the
into the correct one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's a bigger comparison.
Yeah, you see, it's very different to KL because everywhere is accessible.
Yes.
But JB and Sabah is gonna be a different story. I haven't been to Sabah
It's
yet.
a way different story. Like, don't even go into it, man.
Yeah,
Would
it's
you like to
the end of the other spectrum.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is accessible, very, very accessible.
Yeah.
That is wow. You
Yeah,
get
I mean,
out.
it's still accessible. It's just like most, not all of the places you have to get to by private cars. Like buses, there are still buses, but I don't think like local people like us would want to go onto the bus. It's called bus berhenti henti. I don't know if you heard of it before.
No, never.
Yeah, it's like it's basically like a public bus also, but it's like no aircon. It's a very like rundown kind of bus, and it's driven by I mean, it's always driven by foreign workers, but I don't know about here. But yeah, it's a very shabby and shady public transportation that's available, only available. So yeah, everywhere you go, it's by car, or you can hire an elephant if you want to.
You know what we won't.
Yes.
Wait, what's the crocodile
Hire
thing?
crocodile.
Yeah,
It has to
crocodile.
live on trees. Have you heard of the tree story? Yeah.
No,
The
not really, not
Osabahasi
really.
all live on trees.
But
When
you
tree...
did tell me about the you want to share the joke? Is it appropriate to share?
Yeah.
Okay, you share the joke.
Because a lot of other countries, I won't name them, but a lot of other countries,
Oh
when they
gosh.
hear about Malaysia, and then when they know that Malaysia is a country with a lot of
Rainforest.
rainforest, yeah, it's a
Yes, exactly.
more tropical area,
Yes.
Yes.
so they will assume that we all live on trees.
Yes.
And so I think we had this joke yesterday about, oh, I shall return to my tree, my huge tree, and then I'll let my leaves or the branches carry me up to my tree house. Yeah, and then
Well, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I honestly thought that Sabah is like a pretty underdeveloped area, but when I was there like um about 2 months ago, I was pleasantly surprised how developed it is. It's pretty comparable to, okay, based on my knowledge, it's pretty comparable to Johor, but I would say that Johor is more developed. But again, this is just my own perspective and things, and it's my own personal judgment. So I don't have how do I say this? I don't have very good knowledge about Malaysian culture much, but I think being part of this episode helps me to kind of appreciate a lot about the culture in Malaysia, I would say.
that tree that I live in has a lot of houses, a lot of units, so it's huge trees.
How
Um,
can you...
How
they.
even, man? How even?
How?
I think people
That's
are
a
just
sarcastic way of
I know, but how even? Like,
imaginative.
is the kind of generalization that people have, and
Mm.
They
yeah.
thought that we are like that, but now we aren't lah. But we are in halfway.
Because when they hear like, oh, rainforest country, the whole thing must be like rainforest.
Yes.
It's not developed. It's not like cut down. They just adapt to the
Yes,
rainforest.
exactly.
I hate to say this because my mom's hometown is at Taiping.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh.
Taipei is like full of rainforest.
Yes.
so 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 my
Mm.
impression of Malaysian kampong has been just rainforest,
Yep.
random house in the random service road,
Yep.
but the service road, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
as in like I know there's the existence of KL.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, so nothing. Okay, so don't add me in this. Just saying that I know the high city life,
Yep.
and you compare it with the like I wouldn't say poverty.
Mm.
That's the wrong way of saying
The
it.
other end of the
The other
spectrum.
end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So like you have the kampong life, like the
Yeah,
simple and easy life.
Yes.
I've been to this kind of places,
Mhm.
and I actually quite enjoy the slow life. Cause in Singapore it's all fast life, ma.
Yeah.
Mhm.
People think Singapore is crazy rich Asians. So,
Yeah,
but
I
the
think
problem,
about it.
the problem is that crazy rich Asians is there's
Short in
quite a bit,
Malaysia.
short in Malaysia, which is, I mean,
Ironically.
you're not wrong in short in Singapore, but quite a bit of it is short in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So I think it's also a bit of media exaggerating things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Agree.
Yeah. So where got mentioned in Singapore so big one?
Wow. If you got mentioned in Singapore that big, you must be like filthy rich, eh?
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's just say that we're looking at not just millionaires lah.
Mm.
We're looking at maybe double triple digits.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because it's really quite expensive to own land ma.
Mm.
Because Singapore is very small by itself,
Yep.
Yes.
and you cannot say that, oh, I want to have more land because I have more land. We don't have more land, so we have to reclaim for more land ma.
Fill up
We need to fill up the beaches. So that's all we have. That's the problem. So that's why like we had to reclaim land, and reclaiming land is very expensive as well. So it drives up property prices in some sense. I may be wrong, but I think logically it makes sense to me lah. So it drives up the property prices, and there's demand for it. Then there's scarcity for it. So
That's
that's
true.
why it's expensive lah.
Yep.
So I think growing up, right, I mean I've always been living in apartments, so I never lived in
private properties.
or landed house.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you guys review where you are staying exactly lah. Yeah, but I'm just letting you know that I have never stayed in a private property before. As in, I've been to Malaysia for private properties because some of my relatives do live in private properties. Okay, I think that one can be a whole different topic by itself. But I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna like leave it as one whole long chunk of it. For it, then there's scarcity for it, so that's why it's expensive lah. So I think growing up, right, I mean I've always been okay. Maybe for this whole part, I will call it as comparing lives in comparing our lifestyles in. Okay, let me see. Let me see what I can put in as that. Let's see. Let's just go back to After Effects. Alright, back in After Effects. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Where's my title over here? Yep, it's here. Comparing our lifestyles in KL, Sabah, Johor, and it's a very long one, but I think once I mention this, right, I do not need to mention the fact that we are from different parts of the of like different places here and there already. So I think it's a bit redundant, honestly. Yeah, see, it's a very long title, and I think we can just keep it as it is. I think the end we can just put it as the yeah, this. But make it simple on my end. Yep, let's just make it as it that. Goodness me, I'm just having problems with this. Okay, let's move the size of the box. Make sure that it kind of fits. And after that, we will work on the what is it called again? After that, I have to work on. Wait, my brain is having a bit of a brain fart here. So let me just think what to say. Let me work on the previous episodes as well. So I think it's more important. Okay. Let's extend our path for this. Just a bit more. Okay, great. Looks great to me. Just copy, paste everything. This is probably the longest title I've had for a title overhead. Usually it's like never this long. Oh well, just got to make use of what you have. Just do the 60%. Okay, let's export this. Animation, RGB plus alpha, and let's send this to my third and render. Okay, while this is rendering, let's focus back on. Oh yeah, I need to put in that, otherwise I'll forget where it is. Okay. Let's see, animation. Let's go with title over here. Eh, where did I put it in? Oh, I put it in lower thirds lol. Okay. Must be confused on where is it. Comparing lives. Hey, wait, no, we're not supposed to put it there. Okay, let's jump back to Premiere Pro. So now that we're back in Premiere Pro, let's kind of get back to where we are left off. So you know the file size is just too big. Oh, sorry, the naming is just too big. Okay, here you go. And splice there. Oh wait, I'm supposed to be the way wrong. Add frame 4. Oh wait, I'll just make it another color instead so I know it's obvious. Ooh, it's laggy. Why is it so laggy suddenly? Okay, great. All done. So now we're just gonna put in the clips for that. And we are about 1/3 done. So once we basically put in all of this, we can kind of just get things done from there already. Okay, let's put here. Okay, previous episode. I believe I have it already. It should be done. Yeah, it's done. So we have the previous episodes edits with me here. I would need to put in the background. And then I need to reference the edit for the previous episode for that. Okay, so this is the previous episode edit. I just need to reference this thing. That's all. Is it this? No. We don't need that actually. The other one? Yeah, wait. I think that one's better. It says longer. So we just reference this, and we will just copy paste over, and we will just put it back inside there. Okay, all great. In the previous episode, and the very about it in the previous episode, and the very. Okay, so this is where we put in our content. And I realized I could have just done this. Okay, and then this we will replace with, which episode is this? Okay, we can just put any of it actually, doesn't really matter. Replace clip from bin. We just like put in a random part of it. Okay, great. We talked about it in the previous episode, and the very first episode of the season. We talked about KL trip, and yes, we're still in KL. I just realized like I'm wearing almost the same shirt. Like in the previous episode, I'm wearing like slightly olive green, and then in this episode, I'm wearing like a white shirt with an olive green outerwear. So it's pretty much the same. Well, you gotta do what you have. Okay, so the name of this episode I have to change as well. Let me find it real quick on my what's it called? Shit, what is it called? So just copying paste. Nice. And this is in episode 19. We talked about it in the previous episode and the very first. And for all of this, kind of need to put it at the front of it because it makes no sense for me. Kind of like, yeah. Okay, it's all good. That whole aspect of it, we talked about it in the previous episode and the very first episode of the season. We talked about KL trip, and yes, we're still in KL. Okay, there's one more part. So this is Nicholas episode. So we kind of have that already. Okay, just need to expand this a bit so I can see it in one shot. Actually, we don't need the. Yeah, we can just put it like that. I'm not gonna have any more like audio inside of it anyway, so it doesn't make any sense.
Mix it, yes, in case you haven't heard us, the episode that I was in, you can mix it with water, you can mix it with beer, and you can mix it with milk. If you mix it with milk, it will become something like mix it, yes, in case you haven't heard us, the episode that
Okay, so this is the one that I have to put in the Nicholas episode. And in this episode, I need to put in his where Nicholas is basically talking about his favorite drink.
In case you haven't heard us, the episode that I was in, you can mix it with water, you can mix it with beer, and you can
Okay, we just need to cut out that part where it just kind of like
beer
cuts
and
in. And we're done for this. Alright, so a couple bit more. What is this? Episode 19 highlights. What is this?
KL lah. I did say a lot of good things. Don't worry. Please don't.
Okay, so basically we're just gonna copy back that. It's not much, honestly, for that.
Don't worry. Please don't find me.
Okay, so for this, let's just kind of skip to a part where I'm talking about Malaysia. It's then obvious from the title of the title over here. Not this. This is painting it in a negative way, so I need to pull it. I think I had a title over here that says my first impression. Yup, this one. So this is the one that I'm looking for. Let's just close this. I want to leg up my entire.
Good things. Don't worry. Please don't find me. I did say that my impression of KL was very vague lah, 10 years ago. And compared to
Okay, so that's done. Let's just get rid of this. Okay, so I'm 1 hour in. I'm way behind.
So I think growing up, right, I mean I've always been living in apartments, so I never lived in like
Landed.
private properties.
Or landed house.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you guys review where you are staying exactly lah.
Mm.
Yeah, but I'm just letting you know that I have never stayed in a private property before. As in, I've been to Malaysia for private properties because some of my relatives do live in private properties. But the problem is that I have never felt safe living in a private property because you know what, people can just jump over.
Oh, they
Technically they can, yes,
Yeah.
if they want to.
yeah.
If they want to, just jump over. It doesn't mean got security or not, as in people just jump over ma. In
Yeah.
Singapore, there's no security. It's just literally all exposed to the roads ma. There's no
Which
like
is true, yeah.
dedicated section for security before you can drive your car or walk in.
Oh.
That's for condominiums.
Mm.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So if you didn't know, right, this is actually for condominiums. You can only have security guards. But if you own a private property like bungalows, terrace houses, all that, it's just a gate. That's it. So I never felt very safe lah. Unless like in Malaysia, that's different. I felt
I don't know how true is that for Sentosa, because I haven't been to Sentosa Cove yet. Based on my memory, there might be security guards, but I'm just throwing a wild guess here. So
a little bit more
Yeah.
safer lah. But anybody can just jump in, break in, you are gone. You'll be wondering, where's all my money? Where's all my belongings?
why is my door open?
What's my door open? So living in apartments to me is still okay because
At least
you have one entry point only.
Yeah, you still have a
Except
gate.
if the person is a Spider-Man, it's a different story lah.
Hey, it does. It does happen to my condominium
I don't know.
and then you
Okay,
smell, and then
should I be naming this as like Susan's condominium break-in story? That would be interesting to put it as a topic title hit. I don't know.
to steal my neighbor stuff, and then came out. Then I'll be like, no,
What?
yeah, legit. I don't know where he climbed, but on top there's a hole lah. So that person just jump in and take my
There's a
neighbor's
hole
phone.
on top.
Yeah,
Balcony,
yeah,
ceiling, things
yeah,
like that.
yeah, ceiling.
How is it
Hmm.
even possible?
Yeah, that's why I'm still until now I'm still thinking how.
But not your unit, right?
Huh?
Not your unit, right?
My neighbor next to me.
Oh, you lucky.
Next to you.
You're very fortunate.
Oh.
I mean, I'm too poor to don't rob me. I'm very poor.
So you lucky maybe your next neighbor is a rich person lah.
I can't say that. I may
But
not
do you
know.
know or not?
Why did I make that comment? It's just so dumb.
I do not know. I don't want to know.
Okay, so do you normally interact with your neighbors or not?
Only my mom.
Oh.
You know the auntie skill is she will like the entire neighborhood. Yeah, she's my friend. Yeah, they will have their own communication lah.
I somehow feel offended by that statement. Auntie skill.
Yeah. You feel offended? You are auntie?
I thought you are feline.
Yeah.
I am not a mere feline, just that I have my chances of meeting people randomly and getting to talk to them and
Oh.
making friends.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mention you. What the
Huh?
I feel it.
Until then, I'm still thinking, how the hell that that thief can climb up to 5th floor just to take things and then go down.
I think the better question you should be asking is that how the thief even go into your condominium first?
Then
Why from
Hmm.
the outside, ma?
Mm.
Oh, can just
Somehow.
tailgate, right?
nope. We have actually the gate is there's only one gate, and there's
Okay, I think for this thing, we will just make it as like Susan's we'll make it as Susan's. Okay, I'm going over to our Premiere Pro now. Oh, sorry, After Effects. Let's go to After Effects. Okay, so for this, right, let's make it as Susan's condo. Should I spell condominium as its full, or should I spell it entirely? It's a very good question. I think I would just spell it out, so it's easier. Don't assume that people will know what is condo means. Condo can mean other things. I just don't want to know what it is. Susan's condominium. Susan's neighbor. Susan's neighbor. Susan's neighbor condominium break-in story. Yeah, I think that sounds nice. It's a bit long, in my opinion. Ah, why is the titles all so long this time around? Okay, let's see. Okay, not so bad. It's not too long. It's very random. It's a very random topic title hit, but well, it was an interesting story. Like I'm generally quite curious about whether that has any has it been like resolved or anything? But I don't think I'll ever know the answer to that. Hi there, Blookie. Thanks for joining in. What's up? What's up? How are you doing today? Okay, let's see. Just chilling. Yeah, I'm chilling as well. I'm just doing my own stuff here. So feel free to chat up. Feel free to tell me more about yourself. Where are you from? Okay, I'm just gonna reduce the size of this box. I love the standing fan on in the corner. Hey, I mean, I'm from Singapore, so Singapore is really damn hot. You have no choice. You have to deal with what you have. I mean, in the future, I would love to have air condition here, air conditioner here. Is it the KDK brand? Yes, is it? Yeah, it is. KDK, please sponsor me. I would love to like yeah, no, just joking. Yeah, it's a KDK brand. Always been using. No, I'm not a fan enthusiast. No, I'm not. Nowhere near it. Do you use fans at home? Or do you use air conditioner or whatever? Okay, let me just adjust this real quick. Singapore is hot. Yes, Singapore is really hot. Are you from Singapore or are you from like other countries? Okay, so we're done with that. Let's kind of parent that back. Yes, you're from Singapore. Yay! Another Singaporean here. If you don't mind me asking you, west side, best side. Oof! I'm not offended because I don't care about this whole east side, best side, or west side, best side debate because I'm from not from those two sides. So with the process of elimination here, you know which side I'm in already. So tell me why west side is the best side then? Tell me why. Convince me. Why is the west side the best side? Actually, it's the oh no. So why? Okay, to be very honest, right? I always hear people arguing over best side, and all that kind of crap. But I never really understood why is there even a debate about it. Like Singapore is so small. What's the point of comparing um what is it called again? The different sides in Singapore. It's not like we're in a big country. If you're in a big country, of course I think it's debate about it. Like Singapore's so small. Like what's different about it? The gardens, the neighborhoods, the food. That's all, honestly. It's not like in let's just say that given in this context we're looking at Malaysia. Because this episode of the podcast we're talking about Malaysia and its different lifestyles and that kind of stuff. Of course, like, there will be a debate about like which state is the best, and I don't want to get into it in case there's any recommendations inside here. But Singapore, like there's no point arguing about it. Honestly, like why do we need to argue about different sides about it? And who the hell came up with this debate first? Why? Why are you causing so much what's it called? Why are you causing so much division in a small country already? Okay, let's just put in our title over here. Wait, I'm in the wrong episode. Title over here, episode, title over here. It's Susan's breaking story. Visit. Yeah, exactly. Be like Uncle Raymond visit every side of Singapore. I'm not into a lot of what's it called again? TikTok a lot, so I don't know what's the big deal about Uncle Raymond. But I've seen a bit of the what's it called again? Like people showing me their TikTok accounts and then they show me like what's it called again? Uncle Raymond. I'm like I'm just rolling my eyes because like I don't really care about TikTok too much. But I mean it's nice because it's nice to see like how people how the older people are interacting with TikTok. It just fascinates me a lot, honestly. Not gonna lie.
There's only one gate, and there's security. You know, back then may not know the security.
So nobody ever knows what
Rain
happened
cannot.
lah. Then the police do know.
Rain cannot drain.
Unpredictable
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of buildings, right? I mean I'm still in my KL trip, but today's my second last day. But I think I mentioned this in my previous episode. Okay, so I think this is the part where I need to kind of cut into another topic title here because I think I'm talking about something else. What you working on, by the way? Yes. It's already on the screen, so I'm currently working on a podcast. podcast, but this podcast is a personal project of mine. It's done by yours truly. This podcast is called Lim Kopi, and Lim Kopi is it's just a passion project to be honest. Where I kind of talk about growing up topics and as well as like just social issues in general or adult topics here and there, like no working adult topics here and there. It's like things that we face in general when you're growing up. So for example, like we can be talking about like for example traveling is one of them. Like one of the episodes I was talking about was about dilemmas. Another episode we talked about was about COVID, of course. Then we talked about gym etiquette. Then we talked about birthdays. We talked about a lot of things. So I think it's a pretty chill episode. It's a very pretty chill podcast in general, where we're just like talking about anything under the sun. Hopefully not too controversial, but yet at the same time is very very chill. So we are just talking random stuff, honestly. And the reason why is it called Lim Kopi because it's just really very chill, and it's like the topics that you kind of talk about um in the podcast is mainly like the kind of topics that you talk like in what's it called under in the coffee shop, that kind of things. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you so much for your compliment. Okay, let me just fix up this thing real quick. So I'm trying to do like all this work streams. Of course, like I am an editor and content producer like professionally. So I deal with like a lot of video editing and stuff like that. And I was like thinking like, why not just do a bit of working streams and all that kind of stuff, because like it helps me to be a bit more productive, because to be very honest, right, this podcast is a bit delayed in some sense, because this episode was supposed to be released like 1-2 months after May, which was this overseas trip. By the way, those two are actually Malaysians, and I visited them in Kuala Lumpur. So basically, back in May, I went there to visit them, and also with my guest co-host. So this episode was recorded back in May. Yeah, and what month is it right now? It's October, and this month is already halfway through already. So I have not posted ever since, and it's so long overdue. But I think the topics inside are still quite relevant, so that's why like even though it's a bit long overdue, it still isn't that bad, to be honest. So speaking of buildings, right? I mean I'm still in my KL trip, but today's my second last day. But I think I mentioned this in my previous episode about the floor namings. So I am very confused by it, and I think this is
Yes.
a mystery that I would love to like hear maybe like different perspectives of this lah. And then maybe as
From more
Malaysians, right?
locals.
Yeah, more locals especially like how Malaysians deal with the namings. So as a Singaporean, right, we do name our buildings as basement one, basement two, basement three, then level one, level two, level three onwards. If there's a rooftop, maybe they'll name it as a rooftop, but I doubt they will name it as that lah. They'll name it as a number by itself. But most of the time when I'm in KL or at least in Malaysia so far, what I notice is that it's mostly B1, B2, B3. Then there's a LG. Sometimes got LG1, LG2, depending on how complex the building is lah. Then got yes. So I think this is one of the biggest culture shocks that I was in. Um, Mainly because like now I'm an adult, so I pay attention to this kind of stuff more often, and it was a mild annoyance because like I don't know where I'm going. It's like all this LG, UG, and then ground floor, then the basement floors and everything. And then they don't name the ground floor as first floor. So anything above ground floor is considered as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. And then sometimes there will be a 5A, 5B, or something like that. Sometimes it may be an M in between as well. So I think I think you can kind of relate to it, right, Pookie? As a Singaporean, if you go overseas and they use the British way of how they name their floors, it's gonna be a total confusion. Because in Singapore, I think we all use like basement and after that floor one all the way to whatever floor the building is. So I think this is a biggest culture shock that I had when I was in there. Hi Tana! I just give up and take the stairs. Come on. If the building it's like let's just say the building is at 20 floors. Are you gonna take 20 floors worth of climbing? Hi Lana, thanks for joining in. Today we are just basically editing my podcast. Are you serious? You will climb Active SG? I'm not gonna climb 20 floors. If it's 5 floors, I might be willing to, but no. Just no. Okay, let me just continue on with this. G, which is the ground level.
Yes,
Then
ground
there
level.
is the upper ground, then upper ground 2 or whatever that is.
Yeah, yeah.
Then sometimes there's then start with level 1.
Yep.
Then the level 2, level 3, level 4. Then sometimes got 4A, 4B.
Ah,
Or
yeah.
they call it 5M or something.
Okay, okay.
So how would you explain all of this to me?
Okay, for my side, let's say I just take a quick example.
I think this whole part is
So
just about that
London
already.
building. I think I assume that is a China.
Hi Lana, Lana, you're Malaysian if I recall correctly. So do you have anything to chime into this? I'm very curious about how you respond to this, about how the naming for the floors is different in terms of with Malaysia and Singapore. So in Singapore, we use American way of floor naming. Um, and in Malaysia, what I've noticed is that it's following the British floor naming. If you have anything to like chime in this, like, do you ever visit Singapore and have you realized that are you confused by the flaws in that?
I think they build it. So they build that thing. So they are kind of like pantang. That means that they don't like the number 4.
It's a taboo.
Yes, it's taboo. So let's say the 4th floor, we call it as what is it 3A.
Usually,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, if it's 24, it's called 24A. So if onward is no, it's called as
No,
23A.
23A,
Yeah, 23A. Yeah, so we start with the A, so you didn't heard the word sale. Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
four in Chinese it's pronounced as si, and then si is
I
very
see.
similar to
Death.
death,
Yeah.
Death.
Death or die, yeah.
die, and then also even in like Cantonese, it's
Let me know what you think. Like, I think the biggest question that I was trying to ask in this podcast, by the way, I was talking about how this podcast is and what is this podcast about. Generally, the too long didn't. I can't really hear the podcast audio. It's really low. Okay, noted. Let me just increase it.
along there, very similar.
Is this better? Basically, 4 is a bad number.
4 is yeah, for them it's like how to say yeah, taboo number.
Then why not you just say 8 is also a good number? Everything 8A, 8B, 8C. Everything all 8.
No, we don't work that way. They only taboo on 4.
I
Yeah,
don't
so
think it works
yeah,
that
that's
way.
better.
Then I have a question though. What if it's like 30th floor onwards? What do they call it? Like what? 3A.
I don't know what shit you're talking about. Okay, I explain the context to this conversation again. So, in general, right, in Singapore, we use the American way of floor naming system. But in Malaysia, which is where I went, which is in KL, I mean, of course, in other places like Sabah and Johor, they already use the system anyway, which is called the British floor naming system. So the difference between both systems is that in Singapore, the American way of floor naming is that we've everything is all basement. We just call it as basement. Anything that's below ground, it's all basement 1, basement 2, basement 3, and so forth. But anything that's above ground, which is ground level all the way, we don't call it ground as ground level. We call it level 1. Level 1, level 2, level 3, all the way to the rooftop level. Um, in Malaysia, so far I've noticed is that you guys don't call it like that. You guys will have the basement 1, basement 2, and then basement 2, basement 1. You might have a lower ground like LG2, LG1, and then you maybe have a ground floor. Then you have a upper ground 1, upper ground 2, depending on if the building allows it for that. And then you have a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Sometimes, like if you have a bridge level or something, you might call it a different level or something. So, oh yeah, right. Okay, so basically, what I'm trying to ask in this podcast is that, how would you guys differentiate where's where? If, like, for example, if I go into the building and I want to go to like a specific floor without looking at a directory, how do I know where's where? Because the term of lower ground, upper ground and ground is a bit confusing, not gonna lie. But if I'm not looking at the directory in terms of like, oh, this lower ground is the street level or something, let's just assume. Like, how will I know as a local that this floor is meant for that, this floor is meant for this, without looking at the map directory? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, that's all.
A1.
30th floor onwards?
Yeah, 30th floor. Because
Like 40,
40th onwards, I should be
40.
asking that question now.
oh, sorry, yes, 40th floor onwards.
Then I think
They just skip the whole floor.
Actually,
So they
A1
skip the whole 40th floor.
No, they won't skip it, but they put it like A1 or A2 that kind of thing. I think that one also
Ah,
possible.
really?
This one I'm not sure.
But might be possible. But normally we won't have that.
We don't
tall
usually
building.
have.
That tall
Mm.
building.
Condominiums not.
No, I'm quite curious
Ooh.
how the Petronas Tower name their floors now.
I haven't been there for a long time.
You haven't been there for a long time.
I've been there for my internship, but I forget already. But that one is kind of crazy also.
Oh.
Okay, but they didn't think about the taboos lah. They just do it normally, but
Yeah.
can up to like level 79, 80.
I know it's a 70 plus building.
Yes, it is.
But
Japanese builder, was it?
I'm not sure, but
I know some are more, if I recall correctly. I might.
Okay, I think I have to put in the editor's note there for the Petronas Tower. So I didn't do research for that, and I need to basically put in for that. Your editing timeline looks so complicated. I think it's okay. It's not that difficult. Hi, Manfred. Thanks for joining in. To answer your question, Luki, so let me just go through like what is in my timeline. Okay. So this layer, this particular layer, where you see like all the wrong. So this layer is all the video footages. But because like on that day itself, I did not have the secondary camera that is facing towards the guest, and unfortunately it was gone. That's on my part, which is unfortunately we lost the footage. So to replace it, I had this title card, which kind of like represents the data talking in the background. But in general, like this adjustment layer represents the color correction. But this is how it looks like in general. So it's like you have the this is the me and my co-host camera. This layer is for the guest, and then the different adjustment layers represents the different color correction for it. This is basically the title overhead, as you can see from the top there. And then like sometimes like I would have a bit of like all this like video overlay sometimes here and there for any of the episodes here and there. And then for the bottom part for the audio is the audio, so the different color rep corresponds to the audio itself lah. So for example, like this is representing the myself and my co-host. The dark blue represents the audio from the guest. Yeah, and then basically this represents the actual cleaned up version of the audio that's mixed together. So it's a mix down of all the audio itself. Yeah, hello there, Manpit and Lana. Today I'm basically editing my podcast. I'm actually finishing up this podcast today. Hopefully we can get it done as soon as I can. If you have any input about the podcast, any suggestions, feel free to let me know as well. I would love to hear it from your end as well.
yes, it is.
But
Japanese builder, was it?
I'm not sure, but
I know some are more, if I recall correctly. I might be wrong, so editor's note there. Yeah.
During my first day of internship, I need to switch a few links.
Okay, I think I need to put in like a floor naming, and after that as Petronas Tower. Will always be confused with Premiere Pro. I think Premiere Pro is the industry standard. Same goes to Final Cut Pro. For editing wise, and as well as for After Effects. So I mean, if a regular commoner kind of like go into video editing and then they don't really get themselves trained in terms of how editing softwares work, Premiere Pro can be very confusing, because I also got confused when I was switching from iMovie / Windows Movie Maker, because everybody starts off from there anyway. And when I go into Premiere Pro, I was super damn confused on how it works anyway. Okay, yes, I need to put in the title overhead, so let me just transit over to After Effects. So let's just transit. So about floor naming system. Where is my title? Yes, there. I used to use After Effects, but quickly went to DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, I was thinking of transiting my workflow for Premiere Pro to what is it called again? Um, for DaVinci. I have used DaVinci before. Um, do I recommend it? It's actually not easy to learn DaVinci. So if you think that Premiere Pro is confusing, I feel that DaVinci is even more confusing in my opinion. Because I use DaVinci mainly for color grading. So when I jump into DaVinci, right, I'm like, what the hell is this thing, man? It's so damn confusing. But sounds like you have experience with video editing then. May I know like exactly what you do? If you don't mind me asking you that. Actually, I should call it as difference or difference. I edit videos. Wow. What kind of videos do you edit? I do not explain my work other than that. Try me. I have listened to different kinds of explanations of what they do. And to be honest, I don't think not say that I don't think I'll get confused, just that I have not heard something that is so damn confusing yet. So yeah. It's just mainly school project. Okay. I'm assuming you're still in school. Now I just ended for fun. Ah, ended for fun. Actually, my passion for video editing as well as filmmaking and all that kind of stuff really just came from secondary school days. Just trying to find clients, but it's hard. Yeah, I agree. It's very difficult. I I mainly deal with like a lot of dancing right now, so I have a lot of struggles in terms of trying to find clients. To be honest, like I'm in the same road, so I don't have much advice when it comes to like, finding clients. Yeah, I think that is okay. Difference in floor naming systems. We will just save this bit and then we will go into a bit. Uh, Talking about Patronus Tower, AKL. So that's the topic itself. Currently, I'm working on a project. If you don't mind if you don't mind sharing, what's the project about? I get excited whenever like people tell me about their projects and everything. It's always very fun to hear like what people are always working on. Oh wow, it's almost just nice. Not getting paid or anything. I'm just doing for fun and experience. I think your very first few projects is always like you're not really getting paid much, and to be honest, like um you have to really get used to that. Like I just started out doing freelancing um since August, and to be honest, like I'm not getting paid much as well. But I think it's a momentum thing. Like once you kind of get into the point of how do I describe it? Like once you kind of like get the momentum in terms of like getting clients and everything, and people refer um like the clients to you, then I mean it will get better after a while. So just like make sure that when you get your first few clients, make sure that you do your best. Like even sometimes when it gets hard, just do your best. I had my fair share of like nightmare clients, but honestly, like I don't want to talk about that too much because it should be remain as what it is. Okay, let's see what am I missing out on difference in floor naming systems. Okay, I'm just left with this part. By the way, for anybody who is joining in, I'm doing editing right now for my podcast, so feel free to just say hi. And after that, if we have time, I think we're gonna go over time for this already. We will be playing a bit of Forza Horizon, so feel free to join that as well. Um, I'm hoping to end the stream in the next 1.5 hours, but I don't know how much I can play Forza Horizon later on. So let's just see how fast I can complete these. If you are a fan of Forza Horizon, let me know like why do you like the game. Love to talk more about that as well. You have experience with car racing games as well. Okay, let's export this and just alright, so it's all exported. Let's just hit into my directory and kind of get it imported inside. Title overheads, difference in floor naming, and as well as talking about Petronas Tower. Have you been to Petronas Tower, by the way, Bluky? And if anybody is watching this as well. In my previous episode,
They don't like the number 4.
It's a taboo.
Yes, it's taboo. So
Nope.
let's say the 4th floor, we call it
I would say that it's worth going.
as what is it? 3A.
Usually,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, if it's 20.
I don't exactly remember like have I gone up before, but I think
Very similar.
the site. Yes, I've been to Petronas Tower, but I haven't been inside the tower itself and the observatory and all that kind of stuff. But I've been into the convention shopping mall and all that kind of stuff downstairs. So
Basically, 4 is a bad number.
4 is
where was
Yeah,
I?
they just
A1
skip the whole floor.
Actually,
So it
A1
skipped the whole 40th floor.
No, they won't skip it.
Well, condominiums not.
No, I'm quite curious how the Petronas Tower. I'm quite.
Okay, so we start from here, so we kind of need to switch the topic from there.
Oh.
Have you like been to any other countries as well, Yuki? Especially now that the COVID restrictions are not of an issue. I think Malaysia is so much more accessible right now. Just cross the border only. Even though you say west side, best side, but I'm pretty sure there's other places that's better to go to. Like, I really do miss traveling overseas, honestly. Nah, too young to travel. Okay, don't need to expose your age. But I kind of got a good sense of how young you are already. Travel. In the future, once you're able to travel, I don't know if I'm the kind of person that would you travel solo or would you travel like with friends or that kind of stuff. I have done solo traveling already, and I've done travel with friends. I traveled with my girlfriend before back then, and that kind of stuff. Or I travel with family. So I've been to the different kinds of travels. Uh, each has its own pros and cons. Most recently, like I've been doing a bit of like solo traveling. Solo traveling has been very difficult to be honest because
It's not.
No.
I'm a huge overthinker when it comes to like traveling. So it's not healthy in my opinion. But what's your favorite traveling style? To be honest, right, now that I am becoming more and more of an introverted, I'm still extroverted by nature, but I realized that I enjoy quite a bit of solo traveling these days. But of course, like I would prefer to travel with friends, but probably like with a friend or two. I don't dare to travel like with a big group of people anymore. I feel like it's a bit too much, to be honest. But traveling with a partner or like a friend or two here and there, I think it's perfect. I remember traveling to Vietnam before COVID happened back in 2019. So I traveled with my ex-girlfriend and I traveled with two of my best friends. Yeah, to me that's the ideal size of traveling, to be honest. Like in terms of finding hotels, finding accommodation, finding traveling, in terms of transportation and all that, it's so convenient. If you're like finding like for so many people, like 10 people here and there, goodness me, you probably have to charter a bus or something really. And that itself is already a complication when it comes to traveling wise. Yeah. And hotels, it's a problem already.
but
Yeah.
can up to like level 79, 80
I
above.
know it's a 70 plus building,
Yes, it is.
but
Japanese builder was it?
I'm not sure, but
I know some are more, if I recall correctly. I might be wrong, so editor's note there, lah. Yeah.
During my first day of internship, I need to switch a few lift just to go to my that building
Wow.
because it's quite like for example from basement you need to go in from the gate, and then from the gate you need to go to the
Mm-hmm.
first lift, and then you go out, and then you go to the second lift just to reach to your office lot.
Mm.
Basically, that's how a lot of the office places that I've been to. I visited some office places. That's how they work.
Yep.
They need the main one, the main entrance, and then the
Hopefully
main
the
gate,
sound is a bit
just
better.
for you to reach a certain
Level.
levels. The few certain levels. These few certain levels will be for like general visitations.
Yes.
And after you reach like one particular level,
There's gonna be a different leave, yeah.
yes.
So it's a connection leave, lah.
Yes.
I'll call it. That's normal, as in even in Singapore, not just for office buildings, even normal HDB buildings, we already starting to have that already. So that's becoming more of a maze. I just did a quick Google search. It's 88 floors for.
I think your. Oh, shucks. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. So sorry. I think your OBS and Streamlab is capturing After Effects instead of Premiere Pro. So sorry. Thanks for the reminder. I always keep forgetting about that.
I mean, Tower 1 I'm seeing, lah, but
Tower 1 exactly.
it's only Tower. But I don't know the second tower same owner, lah, but
I
it should be
think
the same.
it's the same, but we have a connection bridge. Oh, just a fun fact to let you know. So the connection bridge, there's the one below there is for visitor, right? For us, we have one connection bridge also, but
What?
but it's free, FOC.
Eh?
Yes, we got a connection bridge to connect to another tower. So tower 1 to tower 2, and then we go out lah.
Yeah, they have a secret link.
Yeah.
There's secret link?
You should get a Steam Deck so you can switch easier. I would love to, but I'm not too sure how Stream Deck works. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, they have it's on top only. It's on top of the visitor bridge. Yes.
The more you know.
Yeah.
How is it a secret bridge?
It's
Okay, I think one of my guests was talking about Petronas Tower. It's a box with buttons. Oh, that! Yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about already. Okay. You just press one button and the scene changes. Impressive. I think I should need to get that very soon. Okay, so one of my guests was talking about Petronas Tower. And so according to her, there's a secret bridge that connects something. Like I don't know how the heck there's a secret bridge. Yeah, so okay. Maybe like for some context, maybe I will show you like how the Petronas Tower looks like general. In window capture Petronas Tower. So oh yes, so this is how the Petronas Tower looks like. I have no idea what she means by a secret bridge. Like she says that for the Petronas Tower, there's an observation deck, as well as there's a secret bridge that connects from the other tower to another tower. Oh, that tower, yes. So it's like I was like very curious, like where is that secret bridge that that she was referring to, but I can't seem to find it in any of the pictures here and there. Oh, oh, I see it now. I see it now. So the top and the bottom. Okay, so I didn't know. To be honest, right? I always thought that this bridge, it's one floor only. I didn't know it's actually one floor and another floor by itself bottom. I didn't know that. I always thought that it's just one floor. So this is one fun fact I didn't know about. Okay, maybe it's not secret, but I think it's pretty obvious if you kind of like zoom in a bit. But from looking from a good distance away, you probably would assume that it's just one floor worth of bridge. I don't know. I may not even know, honestly. Okay, let's switch back to our Premiere Pro. Let's just quickly move on. We're not even halfway through this, man.
I'm looking at the photo now of a Petronas Tower. How is that a secret bridge?
Yeah, there is a bridge. There is a bridge.
It's okay.
I mean, it's probably like that. That bridge, right, is separated into two floors
floors.
by
Yes,
itself.
it's separated into 2 floors.
Mm.
So
But they
the-
don't let you know, ma, of course.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's something I didn't know.
Wait, is this secret exposed?
I,
Do people know about this secret bridge?
I'm not sure about it, but it
Oh,
is lah.
no.
It does happen lah. So my
Oh.
supervisor just tell us like this is like once in your lifetime. You need to. Yeah, exactly. Because because the visitor they need to pay for it lah. But last time for internship, we are intern, then we got the chances to go there for visit lah, like
For
walk
free.
through. Yeah, for free. And then we take pictures lah. You know, the obviously the fancy stuff lah.
Yes.
So was the view as good as?
Yes, it is.
So it had the normal stuff like all
yeah, it's the
the.
normal.
Okay, so I'm asking dumb questions at this point because I did not know how the bridge works because at that point of time, I would still assume that the bridge is like just one floor by itself. I didn't know there's actually another floor below it, something along those lines.
Normal stuff, just that the visitor need to pay and intern no need to
Secret
pay.
bridge, What do you mean by secret bridge? But
It's not as I don't think it's a secret.
it's just
it's
a
just
hidden passageway that's not accessible to the visitors.
Yeah.
okay, I may want to relook at the Petronas Tower again. But but if it's really that secret, then good lah. But I don't think it's some invincible thing lah.
it's not invisible.
Yeah.
It's just you don't.
You
Just that we don't know.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
We'll never know.
Yeah,
Just
you
like it's aliens, we don't know. We never know. Okay, we're just gonna go for a quick
Okay, so this is a quick break. Okay, so let's go with that. Add a frame hole. And let's go with. I need to add in the editor's note there as well. Cause what's the editor's note for exactly? Okay, let's see. Who designed the Petronas building? Okay, got it. So let's just do some quick Google search on my end. Okay, so who designed this bridge? Or at least who designed Petronas Tower? Oh, okay, architect. Oh, was a Bangladeshi American structural engineer and architect. So basically, is it an Amor? Question mark? Okay lah, to be fair, Amor lah. Okay, Amor lah. It's not wrong calling it Amor, but I think it's pretty close to it, in my opinion. Okay, so let's just say that and wait, So this is a Bangladeshi. Okay, so then I need to input this fact inside to the to the editor's note there. So let's just move to our editing session, as well as let's go to our After Effects. Okay, so we're in After Effects right now. Let's go to our editor's note. Editor's note. Oh, this is very long. Um, yeah, I think this is good enough. So the Petronas Towers is designed by. Okay, do I need to mention the and do I need to mention the nationality? Is it important for me to mention that? I think we just mentioned. Okay, so basically this is our fun fact of the day. And then let's just reduce the size of this. Okay, all done. Let's put in, let's export this out. And then animation, as well as alpha and RGB. This is under as editor's note. Oh wait, this is still called as Patronus Tower Architect. I think the next time I'm in KL, I would love to visit Patronus Tower's observatory deck. Really fun to go up there, see the view. I have visited a couple of tallest buildings in the world. Patronus Tower is one of them. I've been to Shanghai Financial Center as well. Been to Taipei 101. I think that's all. There's 3 of them. Yeah, love to visit more of it. Very curious about Burj Khalifa. Okay, so we're done. Let's hit back to Critical. Okay, I think the fun fact should be around.
More, if I recall correctly. I might be wrong, so editor's note there.
Here. Editor's note. By the way, Luki, I hope you enjoy the content so far. If you like to see any future streams for editing sessions, feel free to give a follow because I would be doing many more future editing streams in the future. And we'd love to have you around as well.
I know some are more, if I recall correctly. I might be wrong, so editor's note there. Yeah.
During my
Thank you. Thanks for the follow. Uh, just saying lah, like I'll be doing quite a bit of editing streams because I think it's a very good platform for me to be productive as well. Even though I'm talking a lot, but at least like I'm not procrastinating. That's a good thing. So yeah. And if you have any like suggestions for the podcast, I would love to hear it as well. Um, Nothing wrong with it. Like I think any suggestions are always good to hear.
first day of internship, I need to switch a few leaves.
Okay, so this one we already done with it, so we can just clear this marker out. And we just left with this.
Really, that secret that we never know. Okay, we're just gonna go for a quick toilet break, a quick break from this conversation, and we'll come back. We're gonna talk more about anything. I mean, we're probably gonna leave off from Petronas Tower and go from onwards. LG, yes, you need to answer the questions.
LG.
She needs to answer the question.
Why
No,
LG?
you need to answer the question. Now I know from her.
Why to answer the question?
Okay, so we're gonna continue from there later on, and I'll see you guys from the second part.
Yay. Bye.
Okay, finally we are in the intermission.
Okay, we're just gonna go for a quick toilet break, a quick break from this.
Okay, let's go to the. I really like my music, honestly. Like I think this podcast, we have a custom music for this, so I really like it so much.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back for the second part of this podcast. Yes, we just found out that you didn't answer the question. So, in case what question she was trying to answer is that what was the purpose being?
That's a nice interlude. Thank you. Actually, okay. If you don't mind, I can actually play the full music for you to listen. We have the stock music for the first season. It's like, okay. To be honest, right, the theme song is actually from what's it called again? Was it from those audio network kind of music? So we actually downloaded one of them, and I thought it sounded nice from there, and we put it as like a first and second season's theme song. But after a while, because I wanted something of my own, and then I engaged a music producer, and we have our own custom music, and it's more to the Lim Kopi kind of like vibes to it. So I think it's much better now. Let me just play the original theme song, and then I'll play the other theme song as well while I go for my toilet break, if you don't mind. Okay, let me just play it here. Where is it? Okay, this is the full theme song. Wait, okay, yeah, this is the full one. Let me just go to the toilet real quick. Just see you in a bit. So this is the theme song that I used for the first and second season for this podcast. And then because like I wanted a rebranding in terms of like how the music sounds like, and we have a new co-host, and like we're doing like much more like I think the podcast itself has really gone through a lot over the years, even though it's been 2+ years here and there. So, to reflect the change of what we have been doing in the podcast, that's why like, I wanted like a new theme song to it. So I think this is the let me find the theme song for this. Okay. Here you go. Yeah, so this is the current season's song for that. I think personally, like I think the music producer really did a great job, and I really loved it so much. It sounds so much more fresher. It sounds so much more like I can really vibe to it so much. Yeah, I really liked it so much, honestly. Okay, let me just continue on. Let me know what you think, Bluky. Do you think the refresh is better? I mean, we had it for like the first episode already. This podcast. Yes, we just found out that you didn't answer the question. So, in case what question she was trying to answer is that what was the purpose behind UG, LG, G, 1A, 2B, and then
What 1A,
random. No, lah, no, lah. I mean, that's different. That's depending on the building itself. But I think the biggest question is how will you classify basement, lower ground, upper ground, and ground? So how will you classify, and how to a typical A to B, G? So in case what question she was trying to answer is that what was the purpose behind UG, LG, G? Okay, we can kind of just end off from here. So in case what yeah, so I mean the theme song, I feel that the music producer did a really good job in portraying the vibe of the Lim Kopi podcast, and I think I like it so much.
Was trying to answer is that what was the purpose being.
Okay, so now let's go back to After Effects. We need to create the title overheads. No, not this one. No, not this. Ah, shucks, this one. Yep. This one. Okay, so let's just continue on from there. So floor naming. Where is it? Okay, so continued. Okay, floor path. And then this. Expand it a bit more. Disable parenting. What is your favorite font? Century Gothic. Easy question. I used to love Rockwell a lot because it's a slap serif font. I do like Gotham as well. Gotham is a pretty universal font in my opinion. Century Gothic is because like I resonated with it a lot as is my branding font that I usually use for my brands and everything. Like Grimoire is, I think Grimoire is not bad as well. I think it's a pretty good font. I think anything that's geometric or grotesque font, it's pretty flexible. I'm a fan of like sans serif fonts, not slap serif, not like serif fonts. Serif fonts is just a bit difficult to put into like any of like. I feel like serif fonts is very inflexible. It's very not flexible at all in terms of like what you want to do with it. But sans serif is very flexible. Like I love putting it out in like my own works and everything. But of course, like I wouldn't shy away from using serif fonts personally. Just say I would avoid lah, unless like there's a good reason for me to use it. Then of course I will be using it. Of course. How about you? Like, what's your favorite font? Okay, how about this? Okay, switching over to Premiere Pro. For me, it's hard to say. Don't tell me it's Comic Sans. If it's Comic Sans, I will just shake my head. I was about to. No, please don't tell me it's really Comic Sans. I'll be disappointed. Okay lah, to be fair, I think Comic Sans. Because like my girlfriend is a preschool teacher. So I told her that the only time you should be using Comic Sans is only for kids. If you use it any other for any other purposes, like I feel it's just They're just asking for trouble, like in the design world. Okay, continue. Where is it? Heretical for me is a mixed feeling. Like I think it's a
Behind
it's a great font to use, but it's overly used as well.
UG.
Like people hate Comic Sans because it's overly used. But after a while, I feel like Comic Sans feels very comical. Like there was one day I was like walking along like somewhere in Singapore. I saw like there's a medical center. Then their medical center name is typed with Comic Sans. Like goodness me, like why would you put that?
G, LG, G, 1A, 2B, and then
what, 1A,
random. No, lah, no, lah. I mean, that's just different. That's depending on the building itself. But I think the biggest question is how will you classify basement, lower ground, upper ground, and ground? So
Kindergarten by Geromo Font Studios is a fun font. Let me take a look. Okay, let's switch up to our browser. Okay. Kindergarten. Geronimo font. Oh. Um, I can see why it might be your favorite. It's a fun font. Hmm. It's very playful. Yeah, it's very playful. But I think if you use it in the how do I say it? If you use it in the correct way, it can be very scary seeing this font. I think in horror movies, if you use this font, wow, chef's kiss. This is a very good font to use. Actually, Gotham font. Gotham font is just very nice. It's just so elegant. Yeah, it's a geometric font. That's why. That's true. Yeah. I used to love Rockwell a lot. Yeah, Rockwell is one of my favorite fonts back then. But I feel that it's a very inflexible font because of serifs again. But I used to love it a lot. It's a very attention-seeking font. Yeah, but Century Gothic is my favorite font right now. Yeah, Century Gothic. That's my favorite font. Like even if it looks like this, it just looks classy in some sense, in my opinion. It looks a bit modern. I feel like Century Gothic is a very modern geometric font. Then Gotham is a very it's a more serious geometric font, in my opinion. That's how I see Century Gothic. Okay, let me let me go back to editing session. Okay, I need to finish this really quick. I'm almost there already at the end.
So how will you classify and how do a typical commoner if they go to a building, they will know that it's a street level
Oh, okay.
without looking at the directory.
Oh, okay. For me, I think last time I think I read about articles or what they talk about like actually the upper ground, lower ground thing, is because of last time British. I think because like England stuff, right? So they name the floor thing
Yeah, this is the one that
accordingly
I have
to
to put
start
in
from
the
ground floor, I
editor's
think.
note.
Then the LG lower ground basement is all depending on the building itself, like how they name it. So B is basically basement.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure with the A B C thing, but the thing that I know was basement one or like B one, and then G, and then lower ground, upper ground, and then normally it's like start with ground floor and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 onwards.
Mm-hmm.
I can
So
tell you straight. Oh, sorry. I can tell you straight away, there is such like those ABCs
Yeah.
there is already in this condominium. So I'm staying in the residence for Airbnb. There are already some floors they skip out. Yeah, like what you say, the floors or something, but they skip out certain floors and they skip out on they add additional like A's and B's or
Ah.
M's or whatever. So
Yeah.
just to add on that lah, yeah. You were
M
saying?
is for mezzanine.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Usually I've been to a few places that have this category of M inside the floor namings. It's for mezzanine where you have, like, let's say your whole building or your whole floor is a little bit too high and you have an extension, so you split into half.
Huh?
So this is the normal third. Let's say back in my university itself, one of the blocks. So this is the third floor, and then there's another staircase that goes to the mezzanine floor, or some
Oh.
people call it 3M, but other floors they don't have M.
Okay, that maybe that explains
Yeah.
that itself lah.
Mm.
I'm not seeking for any explanations, but I'm just wondering like, maybe how will you classify it, lor? Like where will you go for a street level?
For me, normally I would choose either first floor or ground floor, because when below ground floor, that means that area is probably like food area or what, parking, all of those. So we'll normally skip that one. We'll go to like first floor or second floor, yeah, or even ground floor lah. Normally, if let's say shopping center ground, even for ground floor, they are like, for example, the food street, all of it is among that floor. Then only first floor is like got like shop lots, then second, third, like that. So no, this is how we recognize that floor level lah. Yep.
Okay.
How about you? How will you explain LG, G, and UG? Sounds like some code now.
I think LG is more easier understanding, like what she mentioned. Mostly people will have food items there.
Yep.
It's not really like the basement level.
Yep.
It could be a slope. It could be this place is a slope.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then this is the normal street level, and then you can still head downwards, just that you haven't reached the basement level yet. So you can still get there, and then this is the lower ground floor. And lower ground floor usually it will be more enclosed, so people, if they were to sell food, things like that, it's within that whole area. And UG, just from
My
what
breathing
I'm
is just so
thinking,
loud.
it could be if your ground floor, if you go to hotels, let's say if you go to hotels and then they have a big ground floor, that ground level, and then just like the mezzanine floor concept earlier, they can split their floor into two levels. So that one I would categorize it as a upper ground, but with it still being connected.
Yep.
It's not like you go up the stairs then you won't be able to see the ground floor totally. To me, that would be how I would name it. But generally, I'll still go with ground floor, first floor, unless I'm in somewhere that's more dominated by Chinese, more Chinese-centric locations.
Yep.
Then it will be first floor, second floor, third floor onwards.
Yep.
The ground level will be first floor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a more easier method for those Chinese-centric locations.
Yep.
Interesting. So that means depending on what's the race that is dominated in the building, it's accordingly to the floor naming culture itself lah.
Yes.
And also depend on the developer also, because when it comes to developer, they will build their way differently lah. Like for example, the taboo thing is because of the China developer.
Okay.
Yep. Different developer, they will follow by their different rules when it comes to
See,
this kind
I
of-
didn't even know all this kind of stuff prior to this episode. It's like you really learn like a lot of different things whenever you go on a podcast. You just learn so much about different countries' culture, I would say. Yeah.
thing.
Oh, interesting. Then how about for I mean you've been to other countries as well, right? So you told me privately that you did study over um at UK before.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
how is the building naming like? Do you find it confusing or do you find it more confusing coming back here?
I mean, where I studied, there were not a lot of. I mean, the city that I was studying in, it's not like a very huge city, so there's not really a lot of tall buildings per se. So it's normally would be just like 3 or 4 story. So you don't really need a lift that much. But from what I recall, they would usually do just like ground, first, second, third, and then they have basement also. That's basically like the parking lots. Then just like ground, no ground means street level. Then like first, second, third floor, like that.
Oh, okay. So
That's where
it's pretty similar in terms
it's
of
pretty
naming.
similar, yes. And then for my hometown, yeah, because our land is probably just like if the city area is basically like just flat land, so they just build
Mm.
like from the base, so ground, first, second, third, and onwards. So it's I think it's not as complicated as it is here. Yeah.
So how about like different kinds of culture shocks in terms of coming back from UK?
Yeah.
So how about like different kinds of culture?
Okay, so we're talking about culture shocks as well.
So how about like different
Okay, I think this is where we can kind of skip to a different topic. So
I think land, so they just build like from the base, so ground. Yeah.
so how about like different kinds of culture shocks in terms of coming back from UK and then now that you come back to Malaysia and also maybe for you guys, do you have any particular culture shocks that you've experienced from coming from overseas and then coming back to Malaysia?
Into overseas for quite a long time.
Okay, maybe
But
we talk about pre-COVID lah, yeah.
from Johor itself with KL, yeah, from Johor itself with KL.
Can be considered a different country.
I take it as a different region.
Yeah.
Even in Malaysia itself, with the different regions like the
this one, it's basically culture shocks within different states or something. I think that sounds nice. Okay, let's go to After Effects. Um, culture shocks within different states. Yeah, that sounds nice. Okay, basically unparent this. And just extend a little bit more. Okay, great. And we can just Oh, just realized we have a new viewer. Hello there, if you're just joining in. Feel free to say hi. And yeah, how's your day been today? Culture shocks within different states. Right, let's change back to Premiere Pro. I've been literally editing for 2 hours already. Feel like editing is really a thankless job. People always ask you, how is the edit? But they don't ask you, how are you doing? It's just so sad. Nobody asks you, how are you? Everybody's just curious, how is the edit going? Well, it's like that. Different kinds of culture shocks. In terms of coming back from UK and then now that you come back to Malaysia, and also maybe for you guys, do you have any particular culture shocks that you've experienced from coming from my man going through emo phase? But I mean, okay, Bookie, I mean, you can. I don't know whether you agree with me this statement, but I feel that it's a common sentiment around a lot of like post production people, especially when it comes to like motion graphics, and as well as animators, visual effects artists, and as well as editors and everything. They always get complained. They always complain about how people don't show enough concern for us. I agree with you 100%. I'm going through with it right now. Oh no, how are you? Are you doing okay? How are you doing? Let's not ask you about the edit, okay? From overseas and then coming back to Malaysia.
Been to overseas for quite a long time.
Okay, maybe we talk about pre-COVID lah, yeah.
From Johor itself with KL. Yeah. From Johor itself with KL.
Can we consider different country?
As a different region. Yeah. Different region itself with the different effects. The west and the east.
Okay.
There will definitely be cultural differences. Like in terms of naming items, in terms of how we say things.
That's why it's better for me to edit while watching other editors can suffer together. True. That means are you editing right now too?
Well, even our national language, some areas depending on the regions, they have different words for different things.
Bingo! Wow. I'm a genius.
Just like I can't remember the particular ones yet. One of it is if you order drinks in KL and like Johor, you want to get those normal Chinese tea. So here it's in KL it's either you say yi cha or shui cha, which means hot tea or iced tea.
Yep.
But for my side, for Johor,
But just out of curiosity, you can edit while you're editing as well, because if with my audio that it's if assuming that your audio is on, and of course your audio is on because you can be replying to me if you don't know what I'm talking about. So are you able to concentrate, man? I feel that for my side, if I have somebody um doing editing or playing games or whatever while I'm editing, it'll be a bit tricky for me to edit unless like I'm doing something really mundane. That I don't mind having something that's being played in the background. Funny enough, I can focus better. Wow, well,
straight away
you do you. I'm amazed. So I'm fascinated by how you can focus better. I'm doing graphic design, so okay, because I was under the assumption that you are editing. So if you're editing, it fascinates me that people can edit while they're listening to a podcast or they're listening to a video essay, listening to music or that kind of stuff, because it's really difficult to do that. But if you're doing graphic design or like if you're doing illustrating, you're doing like editing photos and all that, I mean, you don't really need to listen to anything, right? You can just listen to your own songs and whatever, right?
will say tang cha.
Huh?
Tang cha is Chinese tea. Tang cha.
Nani?
Yes. Yes. That already itself is something that's
That's
different.
how they know that your tang is for alcohol.
They don't you say you want hot or cold.
Then it's very 麻烦.
For this efficient, I want cold or hot, easy.
Ours, they say we want 你炒 then 你炒 lor. If you
Yes,
want,
it's directly.
yeah, you should.
Yeah, I'm speeding up my workload because I would want to complete within the next 30 minutes.
Then 去炒 lor.
Hot tea and cold tea. Yep. Ours is Chinese tea. We have to be particular in like, oh, Chinese tea, hot, Chinese tea, cold. And then with the other tea, then those will give their respective names.
Wow, then like even in Sabah it's different. Chinese tea we call it Chinese teh. Yeah, and then if you want iced Chinese tea, you call it Chinese teh ping.
Yes, pink. This one is also something that is something that's the difference for KL and Johor. Because I know some things like
But since I'm doing a relic video, I need to sing the words together. In desperate measure, I just mute the stream for a bit. It's okay, man. I mean, if you need to mute, if you need to go off or anything, yeah, just go off. Like, don't need to tell me anything unless, like, if you want to. I'm happy to know as well. So at least, like, I know that I'm not talking to Blookie where it's gone already. Because sometimes there's some people that just they don't tell me that they're gone, and I end up talking to myself for like a good 10 minutes, realizing that, oh, the person is already gone, which is like, yeah, no obligations to tell me, but I'm totally fine, to be honest. Like, if you're gone, you're gone. Thank you so much for joining in anyway. Hi, Plastic Bear. Hi, Bear. Thanks for joining in.
Milo ice, we order drinks like Milo, and then for us in Johor, usually we can say.
By the way, Bear, I'm actually editing my own podcast. So some context is that I actually have my own personal podcast. Oh, you're doing podcast. Yes. So this podcast is actually in my about page, so you can feel free to take a look from there. But in general, it's about just talking about social issues, talking about just anything under the sun, and just fun topics in general. And usually I talk to my friends about it, and we just like Lim Kopi lah while we're talking about things. Thankfully, I'm able to listen to multiple audio and differentiate them. Wow, that selective hearing. You're blessed with that. I'm easily distracted, so help. I don't think I'm able to listen to music while I'm editing videos.
Milo ping, and then there is a slightly different method of calling it here.
Perks of being a music
So I think
composer. Social commentary, my interest is picked. I wouldn't say there will be a lot of social commentary, but I think one of the episodes that we had was about dilemmas. So I think is okay, if you check out Lim Kopi, right? Let me see which episode is it exactly. I think Bear might be interested in the episode. I can personally recommend that to you. It is in episode 17. Let me share the episode link in the chat right now. Here you go. So this episode is where we talk about dilemmas, like social dilemmas or like moral dilemmas. For example, like if your mother and your girlfriend is, if your mother or your partner is drowning, who would you save first? That kind of questions. Or like let's say at what age do you think kids should be on internet? That kind of questions. So I think this kind of questions we explored a lot in that podcast episode. If you know that your if your best friend has cheated and is about to proceed with a wedding, will you stop it, or will you stop it during the wedding, or would you say afterwards or whatever? So like the kind of like questions, I think it's very interesting. I think it's a lot of people has told me that it's one of the more like interesting episodes out there. I think Bear might be would love to listen to that.
the pen thing is because from you guys. Because I think the naming is like called copy pen, Milo pen, and it's like pen.
Okay, then maybe for Singapore wise, right? I think the biggest difference is that
Sure, I will check it out. Thank you so much. No obligation, by the way, but I think there is like a couple of like interesting topics as well. Like I think just to talk a little bit about my podcast in general. I talked about traveling. I talked about dilemmas. I talked about the COVID pandemic. I talked about studying abroad as well. And I talked about my birthday, just like different kind of the birthdays I celebrated. In terms like surprise birthdays, birthday gifts. We talked about mental well-being as well. We talked about pet peeves. We talked about gym etiquettes. We talked about star readings as well. We talked about New Year resolutions. Then I think the previous format of the podcast, we actually talked about like different personalities. So it's more personality driven for the first half of the podcast, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's mostly about topic driven episodes lah. So I mean, feel free to suggest any episodes in general. I would love to take in any suggestions of topics. Um, I have some topics that I intend to come up with in the coming episodes, but I would love to hear out if there's anybody want to suggest any topics in general.
Wise, I mean, if you go to those Chinese restaurants, not your typical kopi peng, hot coffee or that kind of stuff, they will just say 中国茶 you say 吉华茶 you say 绿茶 so basically what kind of what do you get then you will still say what we want we will say we want cold or hot but usually when you go to those Chinese restaurants if you want those kind of teas usually people will serve you hot immediately unless you say I want it cold and you'll be there one out usually because most people will serve you just the typical with everybody in the table will receive the hot cups lah so that's the assumption they'll give you. I know it also because I've been to other parts of Malaysia and it's pretty similar. But in Singapore, that's how we will call it. I may be wrong because I don't order enough tea. But based on how much I've seen, it's usually like this. Very similar, just that the naming is a bit different. Then, yeah, you say what yes, correct. Then one thing I realized that when I was in KL is that you guys call it, we call it Inyang. Then you guys call it Cham.
Yes, cham.
What is Cham?
Cham is Chapo is from Malay.
I see.
Chapo in Malay and also.
Well, I think in KL they call Yang, which is our version of coffee and tea mixed together. By the way, Duki, I was talking about how I do have a podcast myself, but it failed even before it launched. What's the story, by the way? Tell me more about it. So I was just talking about how in Singapore we have coffee and tea together. It's called Yin Yang. I think McDonald's had Yin Yang ice cream back then. But in Malaysia they call it as Cham. So it's basically their way of saying Yin Yang. And I was so surprised and I thought that it was a different drink by itself.
It's more
Hokkien.
of the Hokkien, and then considered quite derived from Vietnam also.
I almost thought it was a new drink.
No,
See,
it's not.
that's how bad it was. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, that's why he's kind of like I thought I ordered Teh that time, but when it comes, I ordered Cham, and then he asked, and then Swedish face like, what Cham is this?
It's because I didn't realize it was Yin Yang. Because I was trying her, she ordered.
Oh, bad. You okay to play Forza Horizon? I might be playing that later on. Around 10 plus. If you want, we can play Forza Horizon. Because I'm supposed to play Forza Horizon now, but this editing is going longer than usual, to be honest.
She ordered the
Due to our work commitment, it's hard to record, so we kind of have to leave it hanging. Oh, that's sad. Hey, but Bear, open invitation if you want to join in my podcast. I would love to have you inside if you really don't mind. We can talk about the details privately, but if you don't mind, I would love to interview you with a topic in general. So yeah, we can talk about Twitch if you like to talk about it. I mean, that's open invitation, honestly. Like, if you don't want to, I'm totally fine with it. I can't stand, honestly. It's me and my best friend, Catherine. She's based in KL. Oh, okay. So because of different countries, I presume it didn't work out.
same thing, just that
Yeah.
it's hot.
This is hot. Then you
I'm not that interesting to interview, to be honest, right? I'm not trying to convince you, but I have a lot of people who came in to the podcast thinking they're not interesting. But for some reason, the episode became interesting.
because it's just cold.
Yeah, exactly. And then he drink mine.
Because I didn't know she ordered Cham. That's the problem. You see, I didn't know.
You didn't know meh?
Oh, by the way, Bear, the person beside me is actually my guest co-host. Hint, I don't want to say so much here.
I thought you ordered coffee. You see, I think coffee.
Did you read it? Did you read it?
Yeah. So because my impression was that it was kopi, and I really thought it was kopi, so I didn't really think too much.
You thought mine is a new thing?
Yeah, that's how I say, how come yours is Yin Yang? And then he says it's Cham. Then he tell me that yours is also Cham. That is the same thing, but yours is
No,
just.
actually, I understand your term. Just that I say it's Cham because it's the same thing. Yeah.
Generally in KL, it's that's the term.
I see. Same, but different. So much differences, but so many similarities.
Malaysian one is better.
Wait, what?
So much differences, but so many similarities.
Malaysian one is better.
Malaysia one is better. I don't know, man. I feel that food and drinks in Malaysia is so much more interesting. It's the same time zone, but yeah, we thought that we could have some time to record even on weekends, but weekend is the only time we can catch up on our life. I mean, it's true. Like I'm catching up with you right now, Bear. Like I think you are busy as well. I'm totally respecting it. But to be honest, most of my recordings for the podcast is usually on weekends. I have very little people saying that, oh, let's do it on a weekday. Yeah, because most of them are working anyway. I'm saying this on the behalf of myself. I think they're not wrong. They're not wrong. But out of all the Malaysian foods and Singapore food lah, I still like my Hokkien Mee. Then you guys will be like, what is Hokkien Mee? I'm saying this on the behalf of myself. I think they're not wrong. They're not wrong. But out of all, okay, this is talking about Singapore food and everything already. So Singapore food and Malaysia food. So this one I think can probably talk about the next topic title here. They're not wrong. What I meant was weekend is where we catch up on real life rather than work stuff. Hence, we don't have the time to record even on weekends. Okay, I understand where you're coming from already. But yeah, I agree. I think even on weekends wise, it's very hard for me to do work because I feel that weekends should be just purely as just social life. And I feel that working on weekends is just really sad. Unless like your work is just no choice, like you really have to work on weekends, then I think that is just to be honest, like I cannot like judge. And I mean if you have to, you have to. But I think weekends should be reserved as like family time, especially you, Bear. I think you are married as well, so I think you want to like catch up with your with your wife as well because I think it's valuable family time as well as with friends with your loved ones like your family and everything. Like I would love to just use my weekends for just family time and also as with friends and everything. I will record a few episodes now, but it's stuck in draft. Well, Bear, if you want me to edit for you, I'm happy to edit. Wrong. But out of all the Malaysian foods and Singapore food lah, I still like my Hokkien Mee. Yeah, Mama Bear makes a lot of noise of me not hanging out with her. Hey, even my partner complains about that sometimes, but I tell her it's all for work sometimes. Like even when I'm doing streaming, like I tell her sometimes like because like right now I told her that oh when I'm doing streaming, hey, I'm actually doing this and that. So like you know that I am not like slacking or I'm not like doing anything funny or whatever. Which editing software are you using? I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro and as well as Adobe After Effects. Your podcast is both audio and video. Yes. That's why it's much harder for me to edit, to be honest. If it's just audio, I mean, it can be done within a day, honestly. But if it's like video and everything, usually it takes me a few days worth of editing. But I think I will pause it here. That downtime to edit a video. Yeah, it takes a lot of energy to edit the video. Okay, just now like Bookie was like mentioning about how my layers is just so damn complicated. You see, like I have to like switch around because I filmed by both cameras and everything. For my me and my co-host, my guest co-host, as well as second camera, which is like the guest two guests here. You have one entry point only.
Yeah, you still have a
Except the if the person is a Spider-Man, it's a different story lah. So it's like imagine like having to toggle both cameras and everything. Then I have to color correct. I have to make sure that the audio is all okay and everything. And I have to now do up the topics on the top, which is here. So it's like there's so much things for me to do. And to be honest, like I'm the only one working on this, and to be very honest, I think it's very tiring. Every time like I do and podcast edit, I really feel like I am going on a war. I mean, it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but it is true in some aspect.
So much different. Out of all the Malaysian foods and Singapore.
Okay, let's edit up the last topic title overhead. Then I think yeah we just end off the stream. I don't think I'll finish this today. I mean I could, but I want to play Forza Horizon. I'm getting a little sick hearing my own voice, to be honest. Should I say comparing comparing foods from Malaysia and Singapore? What's a better way of putting it? Comparing our foods. Comparing. What's the best way to put this? Chapter marker. Comparing. I wouldn't say comparing. Comparing is a bit negative. I don't want Malaysians to come after me and say, why you say comparing? Our Malaysian food is better. Or I want Singaporeans to say, comparing foods with our neighbor. Let's just say, I think can lah. Comparing foods with our neighbor. That's a nice suggestion. I don't need to be too controversial, because I'm worried that both Singaporeans and Malaysians may come after me if I put the wrong title for this. So, because I know food is a very sensitive topic for like, especially Malaysians, that they take their pride for like food a lot, which is good, honestly. Oof! To make it spicier, Malaysian food sucks, and here's why. No, bad. Actually, I feel that Singapore food is okay. I feel that Malaysian food is better than Singapore food, but as explained in my podcast, I feel that Singapore's Hokkien Mee is better. To be honest, Malaysian food is really good. Yeah, I agree. Comparing foods with okay, I would say comparing each other's countries food. Our country's food. Comparing our country's food, okay? That sounds more like neutral. Okay, comparing. Hey, wait, why am I in the wrong title for this? No. Okay, should read this one, sorry. You got Malaysian as a guest? Yes. Actually, my guest co-host, and as well as my guest co-host, and as well as my two guests are actually Malaysians. I'm the only Singaporean in that episode of the podcast. But I'm totally fine with it, to be honest. Wait, where the hell is it? Eh? Where is my that layers? Oh, here. Comparing comparing our countries food. Yeah, sounds nice, sounds nice. Sounds more neutral as well. I feel like if I put comparing foods with our neighbor, it just feels like it's very competitive in some sense. But comparing our country's food, I think it sounds more like neutral, because it's not like coming from a Singapore's perspective in some sense. It feels more like politically correct. It's the better way of saying it. Okay, after I'm gonna export this out into my Premiere Pro, we can just end off the stream. And then Bear, I'll let you know when I'm done. Yeah. You can kind of stand by in a bit. We can play a bit of Forza Horizon. And to anybody that is staying around in the chat, staying around in this stream, feel free to join back in a bit. As I'll be playing Forza Horizon with Playsick Bear if he doesn't mind playing with us. And yeah, let's just complete up the seasonals because it's just taking way too long. I think the previous series has been very exhausting. It felt long, especially with like the 5 races and everything. I don't know like how well received it was with people, but I feel that it's just so long. I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. But playing with friends and everything, it felt more enjoyable. Okay, we're done with this. Let me just parent this up. And getting insights taught. Wait, getting insights taught as we compare food between Singapore and Malaysia. Yes, it's way too long. I'm sorry. We have to not use that. Actually, like one of the topics that I had was very long already, which was this one already. Comparing our lifestyles in KL, Sabah, Johor, and Singapore. Yeah, so that is to me like seriously super long already. I cannot. This is just too long already. Yeah, but no choice lah. This is the kind of thing that you kind of have to like introduce. Okay, my girlfriend is calling me already, so I probably have to finish in a bit. After that, we can actually play a bit of Forza Horizon. Yeah, Bet, let me know if you want to play Forza Horizon. Let's jump into it in an hour's time, I would say. We can play a bit. Hopefully we can complete seasonals as well. Okay, let's jump back to Premiere Pro. I'll put off After Effects because I'm ending off the stream in a bit. Okay, let me set up my stream. Okay. But in our time, by the way, in hours time, because I need to talk to my girlfriend for a bit. Hopefully, we can play a bit after that. Comparing countries' food. Where is it? Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, I'm gonna leave it as it here. In the next stream, we will finish up this podcast edit. Thank you so much for Bluky for the follow. Very thankful for your presence. As well as thank you so much Lana for coming in to say hi, as well as Bear for saying hi as well. Very appreciative for your presence, and as well as everybody who came in to say hi and whoever has came into the stream to just like watch and everything. But I think in the next stream we will finish up this podcast, and we will basically upload it to the my own personal YouTube channel, and we can basically end off this podcast, end it in general. It's been way too long, to be honest, and yeah, thank you everybody for joining in, and I'll see you back in a bit as we're gonna play Forza Horizon with Playsick Bear, and probably in an hour's time. So I'm just gonna end off the stream first, but we will be right back in a bit. All right, see you guys, everybody. Bye for joining in. See ya.